Welcome to the We Are Claimin'It podcast, where real women take real steps towards healthier living, meaningful purpose, and income that truly transforms their lives and their family's future. I'm your host, Tammy Guillory. If you're done waiting for the right time, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Welcome back to the We Are Claimin'It podcast. Today I'm flying solo, but I want to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. And honestly, it's something that a lot of people avoid. It's a topic that some people are going to feel a lot of shame around. It's a topic that can quietly create stress in our homes and our marriages, or when it's handled correctly with intention, the way that God asks us to handle, it can bring freedom. So today we are talking about finances and how we can truly have financial freedom in this lifetime. Guys, when we get it right as parents, as grandparents, then we can teach our kids and future generations to get it right. If you listen to my first episode, you already know why this topic matters so much to me. I was a single mom for 10 years, and during that season, I had to learn how to make it paycheck to paycheck and make my paycheck stretch. And when it didn't stretch, guys, I found ways to create additional income like so many of us have in the past, right? And look, there's no shame here, but I've got to tell you, I lived in government assisting housing for 1 year. And then when I purchased a home, it was through a government program. At that time, I think it was called something like the Farmers Home Loans, where they subsidized your house note based on your income. And guys, I was like 21 when I purchased my first home. Of course, I took advantage of that. But through the program, at some point, you did have to refinance, pay the loan back, which I did. But there's no shame in my game. And that is how my kids and I survived in the beginning until I can finally get my finances in order to where I was able to refinance the house. And I'll tell you, fast forward, when I sold that home, I made $50,000 profit. And that's how my husband and he had a house, I had a house, and he sold his house, I sold my house, and we built our house that we live in now and built it for our family now. But guys, also I looked for ways to earn additional income. At the time, I was selling Pampered Chef for a few years alongside my full-time job while my kids were young. Guys, I could pack up the car, I could bring the girls with me, and we went and did home parties and we made it work. And then after that, I sold another couple products. But back then, an extra $500 a month wasn't just extra. It was our fun money, our breathing room, our margin. That didn't come from money. But over the years, I learned how to manage it well. I knew that I had to be the change, and I never saw myself with a poverty mindset. I saw what could be if I managed money and stewarded it well. And I really want to be clear, this episode is not about shaming anyone. It's not about that. It's more about offering hope. It's about peace, and it's about showing you that with a little planning and a little intention, financial freedom is definitely possible. I hear people say all the time, well, money doesn't buy happiness. And look, that's true to a certain point, but money does provide resources. It gives us choices. It gives us options. It's the difference between eating canned tuna, which I've had to do. I actually like canned tuna, and buying a fresh slab of tuna though, right? It's the difference between eating cheap hamburger meat or having a filet. It's saying we can't to our kids or having the opportunity to say yes and give them an experience, be able to put them in the extracurricular activities. The problem I see so often, and something that I lived, is this: people don't tell their money where to go. Instead, they spend and they get to the end of the week or the end of the month and they wonder how they're going to make it to the next check. And they say, well, I don't have money for that. And guys, I've done it too. Look, I can laugh about it now, but I remember times in my current marriage, we were first married, we were building a house, renting a house, we had 5 kids, and we literally would celebrate being broke on a credit card. We would be like, cheers to being broke, right? And look, I mean, I'm not saying that was the best choice, but I can remember doing that. And, at some point during our marriage, we went to a Dave Ramsey course and we burned up the cards, right? We cut them up and we made better choices. And that's what this is about. But man, when you're in a financial situation where you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel and you're putting things on credit cards and you're paying interest, That's where stress comes from. I did some research before I did this podcast. US households carry over 1.2 trillion in credit card debt right now. The average adult balance is around $6,300 to $6,700. That's per person. And guys, that's not with counting mortgages or car loans or student debt. That's just credit card debt. And when bills stack up and the paycheck doesn't stretch, that's pressure. We see marriages struggling. We see families struggling because the kids don't want to be in the house when they see their parents constantly arguing. But here's the thing, if you're a Christian like I am, the Bible has a lot to say about finances. In Proverbs 22:7, it says the borrower is slave to the lender. In Proverbs 13:11, it talks about building wealth little by little. And in Proverbs 24:3 and 4, it talks about managing finances with wisdom. And that's what I want to talk about today. Before we talk about steps, I want to speak directly to the women listening today because that's what matters. Matter of fact, my podcast is geared towards women, right? Many women don't actually manage the household money. And that's not because they aren't capable. For some, it's intimidation. For others, it's avoidance. And for many, it's simply my spouse handles it. But here's the part that we don't always talk about, the cost of disengagement. When we step away from money conversations, it often leads to lack of confidence, a lack of clarity, and ultimately, guys, a lack of peace. And I say this with so much compassion, not judgment, because peace doesn't come from avoiding the numbers. Peace comes from understanding them. And that's why I want to shift the conversation now away from overwhelm and towards empowerment. Let's talk right now about simple steps that we can take to just get started. You know, one of the things I truly appreciate about the company that I do marketing for is that the simple principles that I'm going to teach you today are taught and celebrated. Progress towards financial freedom is recognized, not just the finish line. Guys, last year I had a woman on my sales team cross the stage to celebrate step one, being completely credit card debt free. And this year I have another woman that I work with that's going to cross the same stage for the same milestone. We all have the bigger goal. We want to burn our mortgages on stage, right? That's the bigger goal at my company. But no one gets there overnight. It starts with awareness, then intention, then consistency. And that's why I want to share a simple framework, 7 baby steps. Again, not to overwhelm you, but to help you take the first step with confidence. Guys, you might recognize some of these steps as the same principles that Dave Ramsey teaches. They are baby steps, but if you do them right, it works. So let's talk about step number 1. We need to have an emergency fund. Emergencies happen. They happen to me. They're going to happen to you. Start with $1,000. Look, I'll give you give you an example. I'm recording this on a Friday. On Monday, I have an appointment. In 2023, I brought my car into the dealership and they told me that my back shock was blown, or it was making some noise, or it was leaking or something. And I said, well, look, I'm leaving for Dallas tomorrow. Can I drive it? Do you think I can make it there and back? And they said, yeah, you'll be able to make it, but get it in when you get back. So I said, okay. Well, I forgot about the shock. I recently had to put brakes on the front of my car and brake rotors. That was $1,200. Oh, and a tire. So I just forgot about the shocks. Well, now 2 years later, I'm hearing conk, 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 and I'm like, wow, I need to get this in. So I called and asked them, well, that's going to be a $600 bill. And then I need rear brakes. So let's just add that to it as well, right? $1,000 emergency fund. You're going to need it. Something's going to go wrong in the house. If you don't have that on the side, you're going to put it on a credit card. And the idea is not to use a card. So that's step 1. Maybe you're saying, well, I don't have $1,000. I don't even have $20 extra. How am I going to do that? We're going to talk about some simple steps to help you to do that. You know, what I would challenge you is to challenge your thinking right now, because do you have a fixed mindset of, I don't even have $20 left? Or do you have a growth mindset? Can you pick up something on the side that would bring in income, additional income into your family? Can you maybe not go through the drive-through because drive-through meals are very expensive, instead cook at home? Can you perhaps skip buying that shirt or those shoes that you think you need, but you really don't need? So ask yourself next time you go to buy something, to spend money, is this something I need or is this something I want? And if it's something you want, take that money and put it towards that $1,000 first step. Step two is pay off all debt except the house. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the debt snowball. It's something that Dave Ramsey teaches. Let's say you have four different debts. You have a credit card that has a $500 balance. You have another credit card that has a $5,000 balance. So the first one of 500, second one 5,000, and a line of credit with $10,000 and a car note of 25,000. Okay, just to make it easy. So the first thing you want to do is you want to put everything towards that $500 note and pay the minimums on the others. Once that $500 is gone, let's say you were putting $200 towards that. Then you're going to take that $200 and you're going to slam that on the next credit card debt of 5,000 along with whatever else you can pay towards it. And you're going to pay the minimums on the others until you get to that car note. Takes intention, but if you do this, it works. Step three is saving 3 to 6 months of savings. And look, nowadays they say 12 months. Let's keep it simple, right? 3 to 6 months, whatever it takes for your household to run. If something happens, do you have this on the side to be able to live? Because unfortunately, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. We all have things that come up in our lives. We all have reasons that we might not be able to work. Step 4 through 6 are all about putting away money, college funding, paying off the home early, and building wealth. But truly, if you're listening to this, guys, I just want you to focus on the first 3. That's where you're going to find freedom. So as we wrap up today, I want to leave you with this. This conversation isn't just something I talk about. It's something I'm deeply passionate about. My husband and I, we went through the Dave Ramsey course. I don't remember what year it was, but I mean, we sold everything. It was so crazy. We were selling like the car that we didn't need. We were selling the boat because I had a company vehicle at the time and another car. I mean, we sold everything and we truly paid off everything except the house that year. And I don't want to brag, but we've continued to live that way to where we were actually able to pay off our main house. And so that's when financial freedom comes in. I know what it feels like, guys, to be strapped in my finances. And I know what it feels like to have resources and to be able to manage money. And let me just tell you, I'd much rather have debt-free life of financial freedom over the stress of not having enough to pay the bills. And I've had the privilege of working with so many women over the last 10 years, many of them working full-time jobs, raising families, carrying a lot, who simply want more margin, more peace, more options. And for some, that means learning how to simply steward what's already coming in. And for others, it means opening the door to have additional income so that they can handle the debt and be able to get ahead. And look, it's not about hustling harder. It's about moving through these steps with more intention and building the life that they're hoping for. And before we go, if I can leave you with just one way that you can claim it today, it would be this. Just take the first step. Don't get overwhelmed. Create a budget and begin by setting aside $1,000. Not all at once, but intentionally. And like I said earlier, if you have a purchase that you're going to make, ask yourself, do I need it right now? If the answer is no, don't buy it. It's funny. Some of my friends will tell you I'm like the most frugal person. I really am. I'm not a girl that's getting her nails done and her toes done. I do them myself. I mean, look, if I could do my own hair, I would do my own hair. I mean, I'm frugal. I'd rather have money to put on a family vacation or an experience. Like, I want to create memories. I want to leave memories, and that's the legacy I want to leave. It's really about small decisions like this that create momentum. Do I need it? No, I don't need it. And that momentum creates freedom. And because of this, I want to be practical, not just inspirational. I've created a simple budget worksheet for you. If you don't have one, you can use this. And it'll help you to start telling your money where to go before it even comes in. If that's something you'd like, just reach out to me and request it. I'd love to get it to you in your hands. In the comments, I'm going to have a form that you can fill out and just put a little note in there that says budget worksheet, and I'll send it to you. Remember, guys, financial freedom doesn't just happen at once. It's built through small, consistent choices, and you don't have to do it alone. I want to thank you for spending time with me today. If this episode spoke to you, share it with a friend, and I'll see you next time.